offensive mind. But on the other side, we don't know what the New England Patriots offense is going to look like with this new coordinator situation, right? Matt Patricia. We don't know what that's going to look like. So I'm going to go Tua for a better week one.
Okay, let's stop down on this one for a minute here, because I like that it is finally week one for a variety of reasons, but one of them is so many things that we've talked about in the theoretical are actually happening now. So for all the Tyreek Hill podcast conversations and everything else, what are the Dolphins planning for this early season with Tua at their quarterback?
Yeah, they're planning for big things. They expect him to be a playoff caliber quarterback. Now, they know that there are some limitations. He can't throw the ball 80 yards like a Josh Allen or Justin Herbert, but I'm told they're really going to utilize that deep ball, that they're going to trust him to stretch the field vertically, because him and Tyreek Hill have been working on it a ton in the preseason, off to the side, just the two of them working on it. So I think you're going to see a little bit more of a fireworks show than him just being a game manager.
Mike T, can he do it? I mean, I think that's really the question. I've never seen a quarterback have more of his throws scrutinized very specifically over the course of a summer than Tua has. But with that one there, what we just showed you, where Tyreek Hill clearly has to come back for the ball, and then the one from practice and everything else, can he do it? Can he stretch the field with these lightning-fast receivers, Mike T?
He can. He needs to do it consistently. He was 23rd in yards per pass attempt a year ago, so he has to consistently get the ball down the field accurately. And then Greeny, if that's number one, 1A is durability. Unfortunately for Tua, he was hurt in college. He's been hurt in the pros. If you want to be a franchise quarterback, you have to answer the bell for 17 games. So downfield accuracy and durability are the two questions he has to answer. He has all the weapons in the world, and hopefully for Miami, he does it this year.
All right, Sacho, crystal ball. Those are the questions. What are the answers? Can he throw it deep, and can he stay healthy?
Well, he can. I think he can on both. Even on throwing deep, interestingly enough, Tua was the most accurate quarterback when it came to balls 25 yards down the field or more. Now, he didn't do it very often, but he was the most accurate of any quarterback in the NFL. And so he can throw the ball deep, and now he has more weapons to do it. And sometimes you say, man, he was 23rd in average yards. You know, it's not his decision. Right, you have a quarterback coach, an offensive head coach now who says, hey, now we're going to bring out all of your strengths, and now we're going to have a down-the-field passing attack as opposed to this RPO-based passing game. And so for me, you can't put that on Tua.
Tua's had a lot of nonsense, right? I mean, look, some things are excuses and some things are reasons. I mean, the coach just basically left after he got fired and suggested the owner was offering him money to lose games. We don't know the truth of what happened there, but at the end of the day, there's been a lot of nonsense going on in that organization, and maybe they finally have it right around him. But I think it is reasonable to say that this is a team, if you just look at the names on the backs of the jerseys, there's a lot of good players there. And if he can't get it done, it's going to be someone else's job next year, because they've got a team that I think they are right to be thinking championship thoughts.
Yeah, the previous regime did not trust Tua for whatever reason. They didn't trust him to stretch the ball downfield. Mike McDaniels has emboldened him. He does trust him, and they've surrounded him with everything that he needs to get it done right now.
So that's one very interesting situation. There are many more. Fowler, let's run the hurry up through a bunch of other stories, and a very important one involving Matthew Stafford.
Yep, I'm getting the football to get loose here. We're going to run the little end around, a little no huddle here. So Matthew Stafford, he had the elbow issue, rested a ton, but there is optimism, I'm told, that they're really not overly concerned about this. They might have to manage him a little bit week to week, make sure he's not overthrowing. But Stafford himself said, look, it's game week. I'm good to go. No major issues here. And so he's really going to throw every day this week. He could throw 50, 60 balls in a practice, and they're not going to restrict him. But you can see some veteran days off here and there, just to make sure that this is not a major issue.
Sure.
Now we're going to switch it up here. We got the Steelers QBs. Mike Tomlin could announce a starter any moment. It's expected to be Mitchell Trubisky. He's taken most of the first-team reps with the wide receivers back since April. But Tomlin, he's never done this before. He could surprise Kenny Pickett, acquitted himself well. Tomlin typically addresses the media on Tuesday around noon. You could suspect an announcement maybe before or around then. We shall see. Maybe he'll use the tactical advantage to not name anybody all week. And then we got Darren Waller on the contract front.
Kick off their season with Dallas in a 26-year Super Bowl drought. But Jerry Jones is hoping that some of the risks that he has taken will end that drought. Give a listen.
No one would deny that I'm a risk taker. No one. I take risk, and I do it every day in my life. And so there's a proper time to take some risk. We have taken them, and we will take them. I hope that some of the risks that I take in the future will result in a change from where we've been, and that's not getting to the Super Bowl. But I do that every day in my life.
He genuinely is so interesting. I mean, there's it's something about.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
Me neither.
It's interesting, yeah.
I don't even know what the question was, and I'm not sure I understand the answer, and yet I just wanted to hear more. That said, Mike T, I think I can use the words he used to phrase a question, which is, has he taken the right risks this year for this team to do what it hasn't in so long?
No, and it's going to cost him a trip to get back to the Super Bowl. And specifically, there were two risks he didn't take. One was Amari Cooper at $20 million a year. That's a bargain in 2022 dollars. He's a frontline #1 wide receiver at $20 million a year. He will play well for the Cleveland Browns this year. And boy, would the Cowboys just be, what a great fit right now. They're desperate for another guy. He's ideal. He's been there. And it's shocking that they didn't keep him at $20 million. And then the other risk, La'el Collins, $7 million a year, goes to the Cincinnati Bengals. They knew that Tyron Smith has had massive durability issues. Now, to their credit, they did draft Tyler Smith in the first round. But think about today, Greeny, if they had both Tyler Smith and La'el Collins. So this is a team that has taken risks, as Jerry Jones told us. But this year, they didn't take the right ones, and it's cost them a frontline wide receiver and a frontline right tackle.
And so I want to talk about what might be at stake for this team early in the season. And if we can, Cindy, let's put up their first 6 games. Because Jeremy Fowler, we talk a lot about the coach's situation there, right? And how stable is Mike McCarthy? Well, look at that early season schedule. Tampa and Cincinnati is brutal. Then Giants, Commanders, in theory, they should win those. But then they got the Super Bowl champs, the Rams, and then they go to the Eagles, which is expected to be their primary competition. If they come out of that 2-4, which they easily could, and one of the losses is against the Eagles, so they are falling behind in the division, where are we going to be in the Mike McCarthy conversation then?
Yeah, Greeny, the heat would intensify on Mike McCarthy. There is no doubt on that. Now, when I talk to the Cowboys, they tell me we're all in on Mike McCarthy. We're prepared to be patient with Mike McCarthy, but the outside noise would be incredible at that point, especially if they fall to 2-4, 0-3, whatever it is, with the Philadelphia Eagles. They have an easier schedule. They're coming on. They might have even a better roster right now.
The Eagles have a startlingly easy schedule to start the season, and the Cowboys have a very difficult one to start the season. So, Sacho, I mean, you know that situation. You know them well. You grew up there, all the rest of that. Like, what's that going to sound like if the Cowboys, we get to the middle of October and they're in trouble?
Well, it's going to be tough. I mean, look at the 3 of the first 5 games. You talk about the Buccaneers, you talk about the Bengals in the Super Bowl, the Rams in the Super Bowl. If you struggle early and Tyler Smith at left tackle struggles early, there's going to be a lot of questions and concerns. There are already questions and concerns in Dallas, specifically with the offense. Who's going to be the number 2 receiver? Will Torbert step up? It could get ugly in Dallas early, specifically with the early season schedule. You talk, back season, I get it. We'll finish it strong. It doesn't matter if you don't start strong.
I think that Eagles game, circle that game at the bottom of your screen there, at the Cowboys at Eagles, because the Eagles schedule, early season schedule, we never know how these things are going to play out. But the Cowboys could easily be 2-3 going into that game. The Eagles should be better than that. If Philly wins that game at home, I could see this thing getting loud. So, all kidding. Well, let me go to Tannenbaum quickly on this. Do you see a scenario where if they're 2-4 coming out of that game and they lose to the Eagles, that we could see a coaching change that early in a season?
I don't think so, Greeny. For all the risks that Jerry Jones takes, he's actually pretty conservative at the head coaching analysis in terms of when he pulls the trigger or how long. Jason Garrett, Wade Phillips, there's been a number of coaches over the years that there was a lot of speculation that he'd make a move sooner. So I think you're right. I think Philadelphia should get off to a better start given their schedules and not having Michael Gallup amongst others for the Cowboys. But I just don't think Jerry Jones pulls the trigger that soon in this season.
Yeah, I mean, and let's hope. Go ahead, Jeremy. Quick thought.
Well, no, to Mike's point, they're risk averse, even with the roster too. Like, this is not a reactionary splash move team anymore. They draft and develop players. And you know what? I kind of like it. They've won double-digit win seasons in 4 of the last 8 years.
Yeah.
Pretty good, honestly.
No, Jerry Jones has gotten a lot more right than he's gotten wrong in recent years. But it hasn't added up to what he really wants and their fans really want. Let's see where it goes early in the season. Again, their early season schedule is brutal. As we continue, Stephon Diggs, bold statements about his quarterback, Josh Allen. Is his the
expected to win. He's the favorite. They believe he's going to have a massive year, not only passing but running the ball. And I'm told the Bills also love that he's taken ownership of new OC Ken Dorsey's system. They believe Allen's at his best when he's changing things at the line of scrimmage, changing play calls, audibles, whatever it needed to be. So they're all in on him more than ever.
All right, so Josh Allen, number one according to his receiver, number one according to the GMs. Let's put it a different way. Mike Tannenbaum, you were a GM. If you were starting a league right now, you're starting a team in a league, you could have any quarterback to start your team with. Is Josh Allen the guy you started with, or is it Justin Herbert Tannenbaum? Which one are you starting your team with?
You just nailed it. I'm going with Justin Herbert Tannenbaum for this reason. If there's a vulnerability in Josh Allen's game, he was hit 201 times a year ago, Greeny, which was the most in the NFL. Justin Herbert has the ability to be a little bit more elusive, and that elusiveness over Josh Allen will add to longevity to Justin Herbert's career. We saw Ben Roethlisberger at the end of his career, Greeny. It ended quickly for him, and Josh Allen has to learn how to avoid those bigger hits so he doesn't have the same fate. And you look at guys like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers who are better at it, and that would be my one concern between Josh Allen and, let's say, Justin Herbert, who to me has that elusiveness.
All right, to be clear, I mean, Tannenbaum, he loves Justin Herbert so much, and he just took his beloved daughter off to college. There's room in the house right now. So as far as I'm concerned, he's adopted Justin Herbert now, and I've changed his last name. It's a hyphen. It's Justin Herbert Tannenbaum. Are you going Herbert Tannenbaum, or are you going Allen?
I would go Herbert Tannenbaum as well. But
you're going Justin Herbert over Josh Allen right now.
Yeah, I would go. Well, so I'm a huge Josh Allen fan, and this one kind of goes back and forth for me. But I love Justin Herbert. Young in the NFL. Last year, he's second in the NFL in passing yards, over 5,000 yards. And it's also his coach, right? Brandon Staley, former quarterback. Yes, we talk about his defensive mind, but this guy's got a rocket for an arm. His coach believes in the vision. And Ken Dorsey, we're hoping that Josh Allen, I think he's going to be better. We all think he's going to be better, but there's a new offensive coordinator. And so will he be significantly better? Will there be a lot of change in his game? You could go either way. I lean towards Justin.
But hold on one second. Before we go on to can I just go through my notes here? Did I miss something? Did Patrick Mahomes retire? I mean, I'm sorry. It was a busy weekend. So Patrick Mahomes is not the answer to this question anymore?
That's the thing about this. The people we're talking about. Like, any one of these quarterbacks can win you a Super Bowl.
Right.
Each and every one of them. And you throw in Lamar Jackson into that list. So like, it's almost like to each his own, right? To each their own. Who do you want to pick? Josh Allen is an easy pick for a lot of people, and even so is Patrick Mahomes. I just lean towards Herbert.
Mahomes is my pick.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
You're asking me who I think the MVP is.
I understand Tannenbaum. I mean, he's over there. He's trying to file adoption papers. I understand how he feels about Justin Herbert. Okay, Mahomes, a week ago, Mahomes was the greatest quarterback of all time. Now maybe he's the third best in the league. Things change fast around here. As we continue, he's been showered with praise by his new star receiver. But what happens if Tua gets off to a slow start?